Hey everyone, I'm Taylor Woodland. I'm a student at the College of Exercise Science, and there I'm working on my bachelor's degree in exercise science. The class that I'm doing this video for is strength and conditioning coaching. So today, the video that we're going to be doing, we're going to be working with an athlete who's preparing for snowboarding. As you can tell, Christmas is almost here, so it's almost snowboarding season. But we're still working in that pre-season for snowboarding. So what that means for the athlete that we're going to be working with today is that we're going to focus on general fitness, and then we're also going to focus on some more agility, skill-focused exercises, as well as some power exercises to make sure that she can really perform while she's snowboarding. The athlete that we're working with today, her name is Bryn. She's getting ready to get back into snowboarding, and she's excited to start. While we're working with this athlete, I'm going to be in a commercial gym. So I'm going to be doing a voiceover after the fact, and I will explain the exercises and what we're doing and why we're doing them. In addition to that, I will be demonstrating how to properly perform the exercises that she's going to be doing, and then it will be followed by her doing those exercises. I hope you can really take a lot away from this and can maybe even apply some of this stuff to your own fitness as we're getting really close to snowboarding season. This is just a general idea of one day of a program. If you want more information, shoot me a message and I can help you out. All right, we're going to get to that workout. Hey everyone, welcome to our workout. So, like I mentioned earlier, we're actually in a commercial gym right now. So this is me doing a voiceover after the fact. So thanks for joining Bryn and I in this commercial gym. So we started out our workout with a nice, easy warm-up. You want to make sure that you start all your workouts with a good warm-up, and you want to end with a great cool-down. For this warm-up, we're starting out with a 5-minute jog. We're going to take it at a nice, easy pace. We're not trying to go super hard at first. We're just making sure that we're ready for the exercise. So we're going to move on into high knees. For the high knees, we're doing 3 sets of 30 seconds, and we're taking 30 seconds of rest in between each set. The goal is to make sure that your knees actually touch your hands at that heightened position. And if you can, you want to pick up the pace a little bit. And then we're going to move on to butt kickers. So again, just like the name, you want to make sure that the back of your foot, back of your heel is hitting your butt. Your goal is to get your feet as high up off the ground as you can. This is a great way to kind of start increasing the intensity in your warm-up. For this, we're also doing 3 sets, 30 seconds off. After that, we're moving into a jump squat. We're going to really emphasize that jump and focus on the power and explosiveness that we're getting out of that jump. So we're doing 3 sets of 8 reps with about 45 seconds of rest in between sets. Moving on, since we are going to be doing bench press, we're making sure that we're doing a chest stretch. We're doing it here with resistance bands. You want to make sure the resistance band is enough that you can feel it stretch, but not so much that you're wearing yourself out before the exercise. Again, we're going to do 3 sets of 8 reps, and then we're going to take 30 seconds of rest between each set. So moving on to our first exercise of the workout, we're going to be doing the power snatch. Power snatch is going to be our main workout when we're looking at the power portion of our general exercise regimen. Power snatch is awesome for working on explosiveness, and explosiveness is really important when we're looking at snowboarding. So for the power snatch, we're going to be doing 3 sets of 6 reps, taking about 3 to 4 minutes of rest in between each set, depending on how hard we're working. For the athlete, we did modify this a little bit, and we're starting in a hang position. One of the things that we had to work on with the athlete is knowing where to explode and keeping the bar nice and close to her body as she's going into the above her head position. That explosiveness is the key part to this power snatch. So moving on, we're moving into a classic, the back squat. Here I'm demonstrating a normal back squat. We're going to be doing 3 sets of 6 reps. Because we are doing it a little bit heavier, we're going close to 85% of the athlete's max. Here I'm just demonstrating it, but when we do get to the athlete, We're doing about 85% of her 1 rep max. We're going to be doing 3 sets of 6 reps with about 4 minutes of rest in between each set. We are going to be modifying this exercise for the athlete and doing a Smith machine squat, as I am demonstrating here. Smith machine helps you get that position. It also helps you get used to just the movement of going all the way down into your squat. Here you can see the athlete doing her Smith machine squat. One of the things she's working on is making sure that she can get down to that full depth. She's trying to get comfortable, and the Smith machine is a great option to get comfortable with that. Moving on to our next exercise, we're going to focus back on our power and explosiveness. We're doing jump lunges. I really like these for power and explosiveness because as you can kind of tell, it's hard to balance when you're in this position. So it makes you really focus on balancing. For the jump lunges, we're doing 3 sets of 4 reps. So you're doing left, right, and that's 1 rep. We want to keep that at a low rest rate, so we're doing 2 minutes of rest. Moving on to the bench press, as I was demonstrating earlier, we're also keeping this kind of low rep. We want to do 3 sets of 5 reps. Here we are about 80% of the athlete's 1 rep max. When you're doing bench press, you really want to make sure you take advantage of the rest time. So for this, we're doing 3 sets of 6 reps, and then we're taking about 3 minutes of rest in between each set. So moving on with a more back-focused exercise, we're doing lat pull-downs. We're doing this for 3 sets of 8 reps. We'd like a wider grip, and the key when you're doing this exercise is really just focusing on your lats so that you can actually feel it in your back. With this, because it is a machine exercise, we're going to do a smaller rest period. And we're going to do 2 minutes in between each set, and we're doing 3 sets for 8 reps. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier is obviously I'm only demonstrating 1 set of each of these exercises. However, we are doing the full program. Generally, when you're doing a full program like this, you want to split up the power and the agility movements on a different day than you're doing the strength movements. So here we're doing a hand release push-up. One thing I want to note is that our athlete Bryn had never been able to do a push-up before, and you can't really see with her feet position because the camera angle isn't the best. However, she is doing a full push-up, not a modified push-up. For those hand release push-ups, we're doing 3 sets of 8 reps. We're keeping those at around 30 seconds of rest because they're not quite as taxing. We're going to move on to pull-ups. Here we're doing 3 sets of 4 reps. Pull-ups are a little bit harder. We did modify this exercise for the athlete with an assisted pull-up machine. We're going to keep the rest at about 2 minutes in between each set of pull-ups. So, moving on to some of the agility stuff. Here we're doing a lateral hop with obstacles. There are not very many obstacles in a commercial gym, so we use kettlebells. Lateral hops are great for some of the hopping that you have to do when you're snowboarding. The agility stuff is something you really want to focus on. We were just doing 3 sets of 6 reps. We want to keep that pretty high intensity, so we're only doing 30 seconds of rest. Here we're doing sissy squats. For sissy squats, we really want to focus on hitting that depth, making sure we can lean all the way back so we can get down to full depth. We're doing 3 sets of 8 reps with these, keeping it at a pretty high intensity as well, so 30 seconds of rest. And finally, we're moving into our cool down. So here we're doing a good morning stretch with toe touches. And when you're in the full stretch going into your toe touches, the ideal is to get 30 seconds. We want 3 sets of 30 seconds with 30 seconds of rest in between. Here we're moving on to chest stretches. Chest stretches are kind of hard to find a good corner of the gym to do it on, but they really help make sure that you're chest doesn't get too tight. Again, we're doing those for 3 sets of 30 seconds with 30 seconds of rest in between. This is my favorite for a hamstring stretch. Generally, people do butterfly stretch to stretch out their groin. However, a butterfly or a frog stretch, as demonstrated here, will do about the same. And I prefer this position over trying to do a butterfly stretch. So again, we're doing 30 seconds, 3 sets with 30 seconds of rest in between. It is kind of a hard position to hold sometimes. And then we're going to move on to a modified hurdler stretch. This is really good. Obviously, a lot of this workout was focused on our legs because snowboarding is mostly a legs sport. You don't do a whole lot of upper body except mostly helping yourself balance as you're snowboarding. A key to some of these cool downs is really focusing on the muscle that you're cooling down. So again, with this modified hurdler stretch, we're doing 3 sets of 30 seconds on each side with 30 seconds of rest in between. It's really easy to stack that because you can use your 30 seconds on each side as the 30 seconds of rest for the other side. So moving further into our cool down, we're going to hop on into the next cool down exercise. Here, I know jumping jacks don't particularly look like a cool down, but the goal is to kind of get our heart rate back to normal as it is. We just went into a pretty high intensity workout. So jumping jacks, we want to keep that blood flowing. We want to get it more into our full body rather than in those localized muscles that we were working on. So with jumping jacks, we're going to do 3 sets of 30 jumping jacks with 30 seconds of rest in between. And finally, we're going to start with a moderate jog, and we're going to slow it down as we start getting to the end of our cool down. Point of that is to kind of get our body back to normal. That way, when we get out, go into the car and drive off, we're not just stopping from a high intensity workout. We're giving our body time to adjust. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys joining us for this workout today. If you want any tips on how you can better prepare yourself for snowboarding season, or honestly any other coaching needs that you might have, just shoot me a message. Here at the end, I'm going to have a bit of a conclusion where I go over some of the things that we talked about today. I hope you have a great day today, and I'll catch you later. Hey everyone, it's Taylor. I hope you enjoyed tagging along with Bryn and I for our workout earlier. So some things I didn't touch on while we were doing the workout. The workout itself would actually be better split up over several days. So ideally what we would look at is we would have Monday, Wednesday, Friday set up as our power and agility days. That way you're really focusing on those sport-specific skills. Because what's more important for an athlete is being able to focus on their sport and practicing skills that are going to help them in their sport. And then in addition to that, you would have Tuesday and Thursday that are more weightlifting focused. So those weightlifting days would be separated from the power and agility. Because foundational fitness is extremely important, and you want to make sure that you include it in your program. However, you don't want it to dominate and take over from your sport skills. Some other things we didn't cover is each of those workouts was only one set as an example, so you could kind of see what we were doing, get an idea of what it would look like, and see some ways that you could modify it for yourself. In general, for weightlifting focused days, we would focus on being more in the 3 to 5 set range. So I usually tend more toward the 3 and 4 sets for weightlifting. And then for agility and sport skills, I would lean more towards the 5 set range. And then in between each of those sets, we would take somewhere between 2 to 5 minutes of rest. For the really heavy weightlifting, you would want to lean more towards that 5 minutes of rest. For something like agility and power, you want to lean more towards that 2 minutes of rest. In addition to that, another thing that we didn't really cover in our workout program today is how important cardiovascular exercise is for snowboarding. Snowboarding seems like it's pretty easy just going straight down a mountain. However, it's very taxing for your cardiovascular system. So it's important to make sure that you have runs, jogs, and cycling, rowing, different exercises that you can use for your cardiovascular system. I included a couple jogs in there, but both of those are short jogs meant for warm up and cool down. That's not an exercise that will really tax your cardiovascular system. That's really about it. I hope that you guys took away lots of fun stuff from this video. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message, and I hope you enjoy this short little blooper reel at the end. See y'all later.